Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Dude, you were Iron Man, the top Avenger, and now you're talking to animals. And with that, I'm working with to another episode of The Romancer. My goal, as always, is to enhance the movie watching experience. So, Doolittle. Here we have a reimagining, a reboot of sorts, of course, of Dr. Doolittle. Of course, when we last saw on the big screen, played by Eddie Murphy back in the 90s. And we just thought it was okay. You know, we have a doctor who can communicate and speak with animals. And I like the fact that they went in a different direction here, because they didn't give us same old kind of the same kind of slapstick kind of comedy here. We have here more of an adventure film, if you will, and give us a new take on the character itself. So I appreciate that. But don't get it twisted here. That doesn't mean that this movie is good because of it, because at the end of the day, this is just a mediocre, family-friendly film. Now, this time around, of course, we have Robert Downey Jr. Playing the role of Dr. Doolittle. And, he's more of an adventurer, and along with being, of course, an animal doctor. And, he was traveling the world, these adventures with his wife. His wife ended up dying, so now he's become kind of a recluse. He's tied in his home just with his animals, and he's pretty much shun away any human contact. Until one day, a couple of kids come around. One, a young boy who's aspiring to, be like Dr. Doolittle. He wants to kind of be his apprentice and looking for his help. And another young girl who shows up, who was sent by the Queen of England, who has befallen ill. And now they needed Dr. Doolittle's help to kind of help her through this mysterious illness that's falling on her. And I'm not really sure why you go get an animal doctor to help a human. Wait, what? Whatever. That being said, he agrees to help out, of course, with a little persuasion, and he discovers that there's some kind of plant that can really help her. This fruit of Eden, or something along those lines, which no one really knows where it's at or where its location is. And Dr. Doolittle knows it's in some mysterious place which no one has ever seen before. But he decides to go ahead and set sail with the young boy and his Dr. Doolittle's animal friends, and try to rescue the queen from certain death. And it leads to this kind of a treasure island, kind of pirates kind of vibe movie to it. And ultimately, it's just one where I wasn't really looking forward to this one, and mainly because it was a big red flag here. I wasn't a huge fan of the trailers, but that out of the way. This is a movie with a known property, somewhat popular, a huge star in Robert Downey Jr., and a big budget and all that. And you figure this is a movie which is especially made for kids or geared towards the young kids, that could have done really well in the summertime, maybe somewhere in the spring. But it gets released in the middle of January. If that's not a red flag, I don't know what is. It's clear the studio didn't have enough confidence in this movie, and I can understand why. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, yes, it's okay. I think kids may enjoy it, but it's nothing. I don't think anyone's gonna love it. It's nothing really memorable here. Really stands out. You're probably gonna forget it in a couple weeks. Now, there are a few things that work here, like Robert Downey Jr. Despite the weird, ridiculous accent that he's using, it didn't make much sense. He whispers half the time, so he's hard to understand. But for the most part, he is charismatic. I always like Robert Downey Jr. on screen, but he's good in it. There's a lot of great voice work. John Cena, Tom Holland, Emma Thompson. There's a nice cast behind it. And there are some very funny moments here. I found myself laughing several times here, not out loud, but just enough good chuckles out there. Well, it was borderline entertaining. Has a nice tone for the film. It's a family adventure film, and it's really made for kids, but almost too much towards little kids. Well, I think the best, family movies, animated or whatnot, toe the line between entertaining, keeping adults engaged, and being friendly for the kids as well, and keeping them happy. And this one, with a lot of the jokes, a lot of the sight gags, were really dumbed down for young children, which is kind of unfortunate, because I think this movie had a lot of potential behind it. Particularly this one, this ridiculous scene towards the end where, and I won't spoil it, but Doolittle runs into another animal creature, someone, and he's trying to help it to do something, and what it ends up being is just it's dumb, it's ridiculous, and it should be better than that. Unfortunately, it's not. But again, if this is one where your kids are dying to see it, you could do worse off than taking them to this. It's just very enough in there in terms of laughs and adventure. I think that the adults will be somewhat engaged for the most part, and not completely bored. And I think the kids are probably going to enjoy it to a certain degree. But ultimately, it's not one I can really recommend. I think this is one you're better off on a Sunday afternoon, catching it on video on demand, Netflix, whatever, down the road with the family. So Doolittle, you guys going to watch it? Comment below. Let me know what you guys thought. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.